Hello and welcome to Team Liquid's strategy guide series for Nerub-ar Palace. My name's Eiya, and today I'm presenting Telegon's breakdown of the mechanics and strategy for the heroic Bloodbound Horror. The Bloodbound Horror has a continuous main phase as well as interstitial phases which are instanced from the main phase. Periodically, indicators spawn around the room to communicate where adds will be spawning phased inside of what Blizzard calls the unseeming. These adds are entirely incorporeal to players in the main phase. Players may enter the unseeming after being hit by the boss's frontal mechanic, Gruesome Disgorge. While phased into the unseeming, players may not interact with the team that remains outside the unseeming. However, all players are able to hit the boss at all times. After phasing into the unseeming, the downstairs team will have 40 seconds to dispatch the adds that have spawned before returning to the upstairs phase when their debuff expires. After entering, the unseeming players gain a vulnerability, preventing them from entering the phase twice in succession. In the unseeming, there are 3 types of adds. There will be one add that must be tanked called the Lost Watcher, which must be kicked and also owns a tank buster. There will be multiple forgotten Harbingers that are immobile but will periodically spawn small blood horror adds that attempt to reach the boss. If the blood horror adds reach the boss, they'll explode for damage to all players. As the forgotten Harbingers do not move, the tank will need to move the mobile add on top of a Harbinger and repeat the process until all downstairs adds are dead. 2 mechanics are relevant both upstairs and downstairs. Spewing Hemorrhage creates 2 beams perpendicular to his facing when he begins casting. It will always rotate counterclockwise around the arena. This beam will kill both upstairs and downstairs players upon contact. As a result, the upstairs tank will want to face the boss such that the beam will spawn just ahead of the ad group downstairs, giving them the easiest possible beam timings. Downstairs, this means that you will want to choose to kill the leftmost ad facing the boss if the adds are close. The second mechanic relevant to the whole raid while players are in the unseeming is Grasp from the Beyond. Targets players with a debuff that causes tentacles to spawn at your feet every 1 second for 12 seconds. These players will need to keep moving, ideally in such a way that causes the least disruption for other players. During the brief times that all players are upstairs, the boss will cast Gore Splatter, where all players simply need to move 60 yards from the boss. You can use Warlock Gateways or Raid Mobility here. Finally, note that Crimson Rain exists as a healer mechanic applying raid-wide healing absorbs. When it comes to general strategy, you should form 2 groups of even tanks, healers, and DPS as you lose no boss damage from being downstairs. These 2 groups should play on opposite sides of the boss, and the first group to go down should simply be the one closest to the ad spawn. Recall the boss facing controls the beam positioning, as it makes an extreme difference to the downstairs team if the starting beam position is placed well. Consider a convention for players targeted with tentacles, such that other players may more easily and consistently play around them. Note that you can have a far Harbinger spawn, and in the case you should have assigned a player with CC like Ursul's Vortex or Ring of Peace to prevent adds from reaching the boss. Note also that if no one is in range of the boss outside of Gore Splatter, it will cause a wipe. As always, we'd like to include a reminder that this guide is based on data and observations gathered from pre-release testing environments. Please note that the information provided may not fully reflect the final state of the raid encounter, as adjustments and changes can occur before the official release. Use this guide as a reference, but be prepared for potential differences in mechanics, tuning, and strategies when the raid goes live. Any significant changes will be noted in the description of this video. With that, we very much hope you found this guide useful. Please feel free to leave feedback or commentary below, and make sure to keep your eye on this channel as more guides will be coming out soon. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next one.